Ken Livingstone, no less, and very good afternoon to you, Mr. Livingstone. Well, do you think that spring, as I described in the Prime Minister's step, is partly down to you? You messed it up for the Labour campaign with all your talk of Nazis being in cahoots with Zionists.
Well, but basically, if a journalist asks me a question, I answer it honestly. What was disgraceful was the way those group of MPs, the embittered old Blairites who want to get rid of Jeremy, saw this as an opportunity to make all sorts of allegations and smears in the hope that would divert attention and damage us massively. But Labour's still done very well. Don't forget, 4 years ago when these were all contested, it was the best year Labour's had for 12 or 14 years. And I think a lot of people have just ignored all that nonsense and gone out and supported Jeremy.
Well, let's look at the figures. I mean, you were around then, so was I, only just 1980s, and Michael Foot, you know, not the most successful Labour leader of all time, and he did better. Surely, with an unpopular government, the official opposition should be making real hay.
But as I said, these are our best, when these elections happened in 2012, they're our best result for 12 or 14 years. And what we've seen right the way up to this election was talk about how many hundreds of seats Labour would lose. That hasn't happened. Our base is there and it's solid. It's been damaged by the campaign by the far-right Labour MPs to divert attention from Jeremy's anti-austerity.
He's been damaged by you, Mr. Livingstone.
Economic policy.
Come on, I mean, he's been damaged by you. The last 10 days before the vote was dominated by those, you know, some will say, I won't say it myself, some will say those unguarded and ill-advised comments by you.
Well, it's not an unguarded or ill-advised comment to answer a question honestly about historical reality. And the simple fact is that no one would have paid any attention to that, except that you then had this group of MPs screaming I's a Nazi apologist and all that nonsense. And of course that dominated the newspapers for days. And I think it's disgraceful. But they've been planning and plotting all the way through the first part of this year to try and undermine Jeremy, get bad results at this election so they could attempt a coup to get rid of him. That's failed abysmally. And I think those MPs have got to start putting aside all their hatred of Jeremy and come behind, because what we want to see is the election of a Labour government in 2020. These results are a good first step on the road to that.
Did you have discussions with Jeremy Corbyn? Did he ever tell you to, OK, Ken, I may agree with you on your historical analysis, but please shut up?
No, I mean, Jeremy's been rather busy running around the country. And the simple fact is, I mean, so many people have gone onto the internet now. They've seen Joseph Finkelstein's brilliant interview. I mean, a lot of people, it's a shock to discover there had been that relationship between a small section of the Jewish community in Germany and Adolf Hitler. But it's historically true. And the simple reality of all of that is we shouldn't be ashamed about some of the mistakes our government has made in the past. And I don't think the people of Israel need to be ashamed of what happened 80 years ago.